Dear Tim and Moby, what is homeostasis? From Oded. That's a great question, Oded. We all know that the conditions in the outside world change all the time. But things are different inside your body. The conditions in there don't really change at all. In most circumstances, our bodies remain at a constant temperature. That's because humans are warm-blooded animals, just like cats and dogs and camels. Ew. Cold-blooded animals, like lizards and fish, depend on their environment to regulate their body temperature. Anyway, the temperature and the chemical balance inside your body have to stay the same for you to function. To maintain this sameness, which is called homeostasis, your body regulates itself in a bunch of ways. Thermoregulation is the way your body keeps its temperature steady at around 37 degrees Celsius or 98.6 degrees Fahrenheit, no matter how hot or cold it is outside. Here's how it works. The hypothalamus is a part of your brain that acts as a sort of a thermostat. When your body temperature starts to rise or fall, a special team of nerves and hormones, called a feedback system, sends a warning to the hypothalamus. Moby made this thing to show how feedback works. When the water level gets too high, he opens the valve at the bottom to let some out. If there's too little water, he adds more to keep the water at just the right level. The feedback systems in your body behave in much the same way. Most feedback is negative, meaning that the change is bad news and needs to be countered. In thermoregulation, it's negative feedback that tells the hypothalamus when you're overheated and you need to sweat. Or that you're really cold and you may need to shiver in order to generate heat. Feedback can be positive, too, meaning that the change in your body is a good thing and should even be increased for a while. When a pregnant woman goes into labor, it's positive feedback controlling the contractions that push the baby out. Another part of the hypothalamus's job is to make you run a fever when you're sick. At those times, the thermostat resets itself to a higher temperature to give your body more heat energy to fight infection. But homeostasis isn't just about regulating body temperature. For example, your excretory organs get rid of chemical waste that's poisonous to your body. A part of your brain called the respiratory center makes sure that you have the right oxygen and carbon dioxide mix in your blood at all times. And your immune system defends you from invading viruses, bacteria, and allergens that don't belong in your body. Homeostasis ensures that the environment inside your body remains stable, no matter how crazy the outside world gets. No, I'm not going to feel your forehead. Because you don't have a fever. Well, you're not warm-blooded. You don't have blood. Oh, you forgot to turn that water thing off. You just exist to get...
As you can see from the Tim and Moby video, we're talking about mechanisms of homeostasis. Remember, homeostasis is keeping a balance or maintaining an equilibrium or maintaining internal conditions. Thermoregulation is one type of homeostatic mechanism where we have temperature being regulated. So we have thermo meaning temperature. Thermoregulation means temperature regulation. This is the regulation of the internal temperature. Different organisms do this differently and have different requirements. So we have warm-blooded and cold-blooded, and we have internal, which would be sweating, or we have external, which would be something like sitting in the shade to maintain your healthy body temperature. We also have osmoregulation, which is water regulation. Osmo referring to water. This is the regulation of water and mineral levels in the bloodstream to thus control the amount of water available for cells. So our body is composed mostly of water, and cells need water for processes to occur. If an organism needs water, it feels thirsty, and if it needs to remove waste, it excretes them using kidneys, liver, gut, lungs, or skin, depending on which waste we're talking about. So keeping that balance between water and minerals. Oxygen regulation is just what it says. It's the amount of oxygen being maintained through a homeostasis or homeostatic process, and this is the balance between oxygen and carbon dioxide, not only in the lungs, but throughout your blood and your cells as well. Next, we have blood sugar regulation. In this process, we are controlling or maintaining through homeostasis the amounts of sugar that we find in the blood. The main sugar that's found in the blood is glucose, and the concentration of glucose in the blood impacts all cells. If there's an extremely low or high level of glucose, this can cause death. In humans, insulin stimulates the uptake of glucose, and glycagon stimulates the breakdown of glycogen. Diabetes, which we're all familiar with, is a disease caused by the failure of glucose homeostasis. We're not able to produce enough insulin if we're diabetic to maintain that homeostatic process of controlling the blood sugar.